गुड मॉर्निंग फ्रेंड्स। आज हम लोग बात करने जा रहे हैं लाइफ स्किल्स की। अलग अलग स्टेजेस में, एज ग्रुप में हमारी ज़िंदगी कैसी होगी और हम किस तरह से अपने जीवन को ज़्यादा खुशनुमा, सुखमय बना सकते हैं। आज इस पर हम चर्चा करेंगे। मैं लाल मोहन रजक, ऑथर कम मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर। 55 वर्ष की आयु के बाद जीने के लिए एक समग्र दृष्टिकोण की आवश्यकता होती है, जिसमें शारीरिक, मानसिक और भावनात्मक स्वास्थ्य शामिल हो। आपकी सफलता में मदद करने के लिए यहाँ कुछ प्रमुख रणनीतियाँ दी गई हैं। और भी बहुत सारे स्रोत हैं जहाँ से आप इसका अध्ययन कर सकते हैं। यह एक सामान्य जानकारी है जो हम आम जीवन में भी महसूस कर सकते हैं। शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य, सक्रिय रहें, बी एक्टिव। शक्ति, लचीलापन और संतुलन बनाए रखने के लिए नियमित व्यायाम करें, जैसे तेज चलना, साइकिल चलाना या तैराकी। प्रति सप्ताह कम से कम 150 मिनट मध्यम तीव्रता वाली गतिविधि करने का लक्ष्य रखें। स्वस्थ भोजन, बैलेंस डाइट, हेल्दी डाइट, फल, सब्जियां, सबूत अनाज और लीन प्रोटीन जैसे संपूर्ण पोषक तत्वों से भरपूर खाद्य पदार्थों पर ध्यान दें। भूमध्य सागरीय आहार पर विचार करें, जो जीवन प्रत्याशा को बढ़ाने में कारगर साबित हुआ है। शक्ति परीक्षण, मसल पावर, मांसपेशियों और हड्डियों के घनत्व को बनाए रखने के लिए शक्ति व्यायाम शामिल करें, जिससे ऑस्टियोपोरोसिस और फ्रैक्चर का खतरा कम होता है। संतुलन और लचीलापन, गिरने से बचने और लचीलापन बनाए रखने के लिए संतुलन व्यायाम जैसे एक पैर पर खड़े होना या योगाभ्यास का अभ्यास करें। मानसिक और भावनात्मक स्वास्थ्य, जुड़े रहें। अकेलेपन और एकाकीपन से निपटने के लिए परिवार और दोस्तों के साथ मजबूत सामाजिक संबंध बनाएं। उद्देश्य खोजें, ऐसी गतिविधियों में शामिल हों जो आपको उद्देश्य की भावना दे, चाहे वह स्वयं सेवा हो, कोई नया कौशल सीखना हो या कोई शौक पूरा करना। तनाव प्रबंधन, स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट, भावनात्मक स्वास्थ्य को बढ़ावा देने के लिए ध्यान, गहरी सांस लेने या माइंडफुलनेस जैसी तनाव कम करने वाली तकनीकों का अभ्यास करें। पर्याप्त नींद लें, सफिशिएंट स्लीप, शारीरिक और मानसिक स्वास्थ्य को नियंत्रित करने में मदद के लिए प्रति रात 7 से 8 घंटे सोने का लक्ष्य रखें। विकसित व्यक्तित्व और प्रगति, व्यक्तिगत विकास और प्रगति, कुछ नया सीखें। कक्षाएं लेकर, कोई नई भाषा सीख कर या कोई शौक पूरा करके आजीवन सीखने में संलग्न रहें। सकारात्मक रहें, बी पॉजिटिव, प्रोएक्टिव। कृतज्ञता, ग्रैटिट्यूड जिसको कहते हैं, आशावाद और लचीलेपन, फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी पर ध्यान केंद्रित करें, फोकस करें अपना माइंड। सकारात्मक दृष्टिकोण, पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड को डेवलप करें, विकसित करें। स्वदेखभाल को प्राथमिकता दें। टेक केयर ऑफ योर सेल्फ। उन गतिविधियों के लिए समय निकालें जो आपको आनंद और सुकून देती हैं, जैसे पढ़ना, बागवानी करना या प्रकृति में समय बिताना। अतिरिक्त सुझाव, एडिशनल एडवाइजेस, नियमित जांच करवाएं। गेट योर सेल्फ टेस्टेड रेगुलरली। पुरानी बीमारियों की निगरानी और प्रबंधन के लिए स्वास्थ्य जांच करवाते रहें। जो भी ओल्ड डिजीज़ हैं उनकी केयर करें, समय समय पर जांच करवाएं। जो दवाइयाँ दी गई हैं उन्हें खाएं। जो प्रिकॉशंस, जो सावधानियां बरतने के लिए कही गई हैं वह करें। प्रबंधन के लिए स्वास्थ्य जांच करवाते रहें और हेल्थ मैनेजमेंट के लिए पुरानी बीमारियां न बढ़ें, इसके लिए समय समय पर अपनी जांच करवाते रहें। व्यस्त रहें, कीप योरसेल्फ बिजी। ऐसी गतिविधियों में भाग लें जो आपको आनंद और संतुष्टि प्रदान करती हैं, चाहे वह यात्रा करना हो, स्वयं सेवा करना हो या प्रियजनों के साथ समय बिताना हो। वरिष्ठ जीवन समुदायों पर विचार करें। ऐसे वरिष्ठ जीवन समुदायों के विकल्प खोजें जो आपके जीवन की गुणवत्ता को बेहतर बनाने के लिए सुविधाएं, सामाजिक अवसर और सहायता सेवाएं प्रदान कर सकें। तो ये कुछ पॉइंट्स थे। फ्रेंड्स, let us know something about the same thing in English also. I am Lal Mohan Rajak, motivational speaker and author. As we grow towards senior citizenship, especially after 55 years of age, a man or woman must be very careful. Your muscles start getting weakened. Bones become fragile. Mental capacity strength gets deteriorated. Spiritual strength, that is decision making capacities, that is also affected. And memory power, because already we have passed the age of faster growth and development. Now this is the age when we can think of degenerative age, when our organs, muscles, activity, strength of bone, digestion capacity all get weak and deteriorated. How can we keep ourselves healthy? So already you have taken care of your children, you are taking care of your parents if they are, all the social obligations, family obligations, you have almost fulfilled. Now you are in the verge of retirement. Suddenly after 60 years of age, when you get retired finally and then become a senior citizen, it is very difficult to take decisions about yourself. Leave for yourself. Already you have lived for people around you, your kin and kith, relatives, your all the loved ones. Focus on your health, because at this juncture, if any serious disease becomes a part of your life, you are likely to be weakened and your life will be very disturbing. So, friends, respected citizens, senior citizens, I would advise rather tell something what I have experienced through compilations, through reading books, through personal and other experiences. Focus on four intelligence strengths: physical strength, physical quotient; mental strength, intelligence quotient; social strength, emotional quotient; and spiritual strength, spiritual quotient. There are four human traits in every individual. These are four, that is physical quotient, intelligence quotient, emotional or social quotient, and spiritual quotient. How are we going to keep those quotient strengths, if not 100% maintained, at least sufficient for survival? I have seen some of people who suffer from memory loss, schizophrenia, and they were not able to recognize his or her own family members. Sometimes it happened that male recognizes only wife and the eldest son, and sometimes takes name of the eldest daughter. Rest of the children, rest of the family members, rest of the memories have gone out of his mind. I personally know some of the people who suffered for approximately 20 years. The life of the people taking care of him had a very tough and disciplined life. So, when you have crossed 55 years age, be very careful. Concentrate on your health, because this is the time when you are going to survive only and peacefully when you are healthy. For that, what will you do? Early in the morning when you get up, keep your mind cool. Take your time to talk with you, to talk with the nature. Don't allow your mind to be occupied with chaos. Don't start immediately after getting up that you are a very busy person. Give some time. Think of, start your routine. It is better to talk less when you get up in morning. Talk with yourself. If something wrong you had done last day, think about that. You have shouted on someone. You were angry upon some topic. You had a bitter discussion, argument with others. So it is always better to avoid arguments. Why? Because you are not going to win or lose, but you are going to invite stress, mental stress. And you know that This is very dangerous for your health as the BP, blood sugar, cardiac problem comes. And you will see a long queue in the hospitals in which you will find the people are above 50, 55 or after 60. Whole life then you will be in the queue of the patients in the hospitals. Not only that, you lose your money, you lose your time, you lose your energy, you lose your passions, pleasure. So it is always better. If someone is not happy talking with you, talking to you, or seeing you around him or her, it is better avoid going in front of him or her. Avoid talking to the person. Because we have also done the same thing. When our parents were above 55 or 60 and 70s, we did the same thing. When they spoke something to us, we always neglected. And then we tried to correct them for the mistakes unknowingly or unknowingly they did in the past. When the children start correcting their parents, the family life becomes hell because all of the time, energy, and money you and your family spend on that only. Relationship will be bitter. After men and women get married, it is better to have a late marriage, and the age difference should be maintained so that, especially, a male should have the feeling of guardianship, friendship, and responsibility towards his wife. Most of the time, when the age difference is very less, they try to become friends, and in that they become rivals. One tries to be superior than other, and the whole life they struggle. In later age, they will try to take revenge from each other, and sometimes the parents start manipulating their children. One children will be on mother side, child will be on mother side, other one may be on father side, or both may be one side, or both may be neutral or balanced. Depends upon how the couples are able to manage their tyranny mental economy. Most of the underdeveloped families where there is a mismatch in marriage, where one partner is highly educated. Education doesn't matter, highly understanding and responsible. Other one behaves like a child, always dependent. And not only that, here comes the role of the people who are sitting at a long distance, but they become the best advisor to one of the couple, especially from the in-law side. If elder siblings are there, they pour their ideologies into the minds of the younger siblings without thinking that their interference sometimes become becomes the cause of tyranny, depression, sadness, and all the problems arising between the couples. They keep talking about their experiences, they keep guiding. If one of the spouses becomes dependent on the advices from his or her elder siblings or parents, then the life of the other spouse becomes hell. So, how to get rid of this? The best way is to stop interfering in others' life, and it becomes when men and women becomes or grow older. After 50, when they have their grown-up children, now no more they are ready to come around them and have discussion, talk. Other people, friends or family members, are not able to listen their gossips. Then they find soft targets and they induce their ideologies, whether wrong or right, to them. And it is always easy to induce those ideas responsible to destroy the family life. The victims are always the younger siblings. So it is always better after 50, 55 years. Senior citizens should talk very less, especially with their family members, unless it is asked for, and always give good advices and the best of your experiences. When you start expressing your bitter and bad experiences, you do not know those experiences, those ideas may affect the lives of your loved ones adversely. Most of the couples have their deteriorated lives, miserable lives, only because of interference of either the elder siblings, or sometimes even children. They start correcting their parents, and in that process, they keep themselves distanced, and again, a mental pressure is created on the minds of the parents or the parents. Energy, money, and time is wasted. You cannot cook a stone. You keep trying. It is better to cook vegetable or pulses or eatables which can be cooked. give good advices to younger generation rather than trying to correct, modify the elders. They have already passed their stages. You may not be knowing what were the conditions in which they were brought up. Sometimes you may not realize that what they have done for you, especially I am addressing the grown up children. You may not be knowing that what they have done for you that might be the best one. I can tell one of the examples. One of my friends who was very good in study, intelligent, but economically and socially very poor. He was the first person to score above 70% in matric 10th examination. He was the first in his village. He wanted to become an IAS officer. Nobody was there to guide him. He was very good in humanities, especially in language, Hindi and English. Since he was from North India, he was never good in science. Up to 10th, he was very good in mathematics. But after 10th, science becomes very tough, and most of the time, without coaching, without tuition, it becomes very difficult to understand the topics, the subjects. He never wanted to take science in class 11th, but because of misguidance by one of his school teachers, he took science. That was the greatest mistake in his life. He went to the best college of that time in his state. But he was not able to understand anything in the class because he studied in Hindi medium school. And suddenly everything changed and the curriculum, the syllabus was taught in English. He took 1 year to translate the topics, the subjects. He was throughout one of the toppers in the school up to 10th. Suddenly he became second divisional in intermediate science. Since he was not interested and was not able to understand anything, the second thing, he was struggling to have a comfortable financial life. In morning, he used to have breakfast, no lunch, 8 o'clock dinner, because he had limited money. His father used to send 50% of his then salary to him and used to keep only 50% of his salary for survival of 7, 8 members in the family. So both were suffering. My friend was suffering, struggling, for which He was not ready. And then what happens? He left. And fortunately or unfortunately, he got admitted in extended course of engineering, starting from pre-engineering coaching, organized and funded by the state government. There was a provision for the people of deprived community that if there is a seat vacant in engineering and medical college, the students who appeared in the examination, competitive examination, and could not make place in the main list, then the second list used to be prepared and the students were invited or called for pre-coaching for 1 year, and then in second year they used to be admitted in the regular course. My friend was not knowing this fact. He thought it is a coaching. Again next year he has to go for competitive examination, but it was not the fact. He was not required to go for the entrance examination test again. He was going to be admitted in the regular course in first year. He had no idea, no clue. Again he was not comfortable in physics, chemistry, math. He left, came to village, wasted his time. And as we know, in rural areas in India, when you do not have job, you do not study, then one thing is very important. Your parents, your relatives will force you to get married. And same thing happened. He was forced to marry. It is not forced, but he was rather convinced. And fortunately, he had written a competitive examination for Class C post. Immediately after marriage, not even 1 month, after 20 days, he got appointment letter. You can understand a young man, youth of 20 years, got married, and immediately after 1 month, he had to leave his house and his wife and go for training. He went to join the service, the job. He was put under training. Only after 6 months training, he comes home again. Again goes back. Only after 1 year he comes back. So likewise, his life became something else. And what the capabilities he had, what the career he had to choose, were not at all in comparison. Career and capabilities were not blended. There was a mismatch. What happened after completion of initial engagement of the job, the agreement between him and the company, the time period he completed, and he took VRS with a very meager amount, with 2 children, wife, he had to survive in his district headquarters in rented house. He had no money, but he had done his master degree in English. He started teaching English. He was comfortable in English grammar. Somehow he could survive. Since he was a person of experience who felt very bad because of wrong selection of his career, he decided not to do any service job, government or private. Only one thing he was interested in, that was teaching. He joined one school, then other, then coaching centers. But what he wanted to do was helping the students blending their career with capabilities. And the schools, the coaching centers, wherever he worked, were having different mindset. Again, his capabilities were neglected. He didn't join. But he decided to do something for the society. He was not able to give sufficient time to his children, to his wife, because he was always in thinking process. He was always in the ideological dilemmas that what he could have done, he couldn't do because of misguidance or no guidance at all. That was in his mind. That was his weakness, of course. Children started realizing minimum support what he was supposed to give was given to the children. And children started struggling themselves. One son, one daughter. They themselves became responsible for their study without coaching, without tuition. Son qualified engineering,